Awesome. Well, thanks guys for popping on. I shouldn't say that. Thanks women, gals. Um, I know everyone's really busy, so we're gonna keep moving along. I want to get to know you. Everyone's gonna have a chance to introduce themselves. My goal in all of this today is to really to get to know a little bit about you and to give you some information so you can get to know a little bit about us. Um, my name is Tracy Miller, and I am a holistic health coach. For the last 15 years, I've been running wellness programs. I'm a yoga teacher. And as many of you probably, I've studied mindfulness-based self-compassion and mindfulness. And, I think so many of us look at things so holistically today, which is so beautiful. So I've run many different kinds of wellness programs, nutrition programs, farm to table. I now run retreats for women, 50 plus adventure retreats. And I founded the Women's Wellness Exchange, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. My goal today is to talk about my who, my why, and my how, which I'm always encouraging other women to do as well. But a quick poll. Well, I know not everyone has their video on, but how many people have been in business for themselves for, hi Marcy, for less than 1 year? More than two? Okay, so less than one, Karen?
Yeah, about a year.
Okay. And how about more, let's say more than 2 years? Okay. Awesome. Okay, so you guys have been in business for a few years. Awesome. Do people have any employees, or do they use consultants and have a good support network? Raise your hand if you feel like you've kind of got that.
I have a good support network.
Okay. So some people just pretty much you're the wear all the hats and kind of manage everything for the most part, as many of us do. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, great. So before we get I'm going to kind of run through my who, my why, and my how. If you guys could just introduce yourself, you just for now, just say your name and where you're located, and then we're going to have a few minutes later and throughout to talk a little bit more about what we do. I always find that anytime I get women together, they're hungry to connect with other women. So I really love to give us that time to, to tell a little bit about yourself. Oh, boy, there goes my dog. Sorry.
You also
Of
want
course,
to
timing. Um, okay, so why don't you go ahead and start, Karen?
My name is Karen Yoon, and I am outside DC in Northern Virginia.
Awesome. How about you, Liz? Whoops, you're still here. Let me.
There we go. I'm just trying to unmute. Sorry, I'm looking a little sweaty. I taught spin and I'm out mowing the lawn now. Um, before it's too wet to still mow. So I'm over in Hopkinton, New Hampshire. So I'm just a little northwest of Concord. And I've been a personal trainer for like 20 years now. I've got my own business that I've just been fully invested in for about the last 8 or 9. But I'm a fitness instructor. I also coach at Orange Theory. I'm a nutrition coach, and I also coach runners, typically women over 50. I'm an ultra runner myself, so I do a lot of endurance coaching and things like that. So my business has kind of evolved over the last 5 to 10 years, if you will. But I am really excited about learning about this group of women and connecting with them. I do work with Nicole Spencer, who is a mentor, and I'm in her mastermind group, which has been fantastic for helping with a lot of the business aspects of wellness and fitness. But I just love connecting with other women around fitness and wellness and kind of the direction of online training and where it's going. And loving the idea of potentially starting to do some retreats.
Awesome. Okay. Heather, where are you located?
Hi, Heather. I am in Amherst, New Hampshire. And just heads up, I will have to drop at like 1:15, just because I have to pick up my daughter from camp. So I don't, just in case I have to drop off in the middle of something, I won't interrupt. But
No worries. No worries. Awesome. Marcy.
Marcy Johnson, and I live right outside Raleigh-Durham area in North Carolina.
Okay, nice. Our community, I'll give some stats later. We have people from, I think, about 25 different states right now. So definitely quite a few in New Hampshire. This is where I am, but people from all over the place. So All right, so my why. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this, right? We're all really passionate about what we do. My why is that I, in my 30s, was working in Washington, D.C., getting my master's, you know, trying to get ahead, but IBS, PMS, all that stuff, chronic fatigue, and went from doctor to doctor to doctor. I'm like, fix me, fix me. And found a health coach. And need I say more? She changed my life. I mean, she just empowered me. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like, am I the last one to know, like, that I can control how I feel and that my mind body connection, all these things. I'm like, am I literally the last one to know this? Because it was so like eye opening for me. I'm like, why did I not know this before? And, I thought I ate healthy, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I realized that I was not the last one. And unfortunately, I'm still, not the last one to know because, we've still got to open many eyes to this. The problem is that our culture makes it really, really difficult. And you guys, I don't need to explain that. I think the challenge is that we're, as women who are passionate about wellness, we're not always passionate about the business aspects. And I actually remember so vividly, sometimes the things that we remember are so funny, but when I started my business, I moved from DC to New Hampshire. I remember meeting this health coach and she's like, oh yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I really don't like the administrative stuff and I don't like marketing myself. And she literally just gave up. And I remember just like thinking, well, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. I think that planted a seed that was like the evolution of the Women's Wellness Exchange because, that's just part of it. I think also as women that we don't like putting ourselves out there, feeling vulnerable. I'm challenged with this myself today continually. And I think our business pushes us out of our comfort zone. And there's a woman named Christine Kane who was my business coach at one point, and she's like, our business is as our opportunity to like expand ourselves and our spiritual evolution because you cannot grow your business without growing yourself, right? And we're constantly having to do that. And I think a lot of women don't like marketing, and I really am trying to reframe this whole paradigm around marketing as we are as collectively trying to reframe the paradigm around wellness to be more about education, engagement, communication versus this push, 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 sell, sell, sell. And social media is really a catch-22 in so many ways. Like it's such a beautiful way to reach a lot of people potentially, but it's really not everyone's comfortable doing it, and it's getting into really kind of a very salesy kind of thing. And I'm sure, how many people use social media to market their business? A little bit too. Okay. And I think that's good to hear because I always want to tell people there's so many other ways that you can market your business, right? There's, it doesn't have to be just social media. It's not the only game in town, even though it feels like it. And I think what's happening is women are getting themselves out there and they're struggling and it's like soul sucking. So, and then really the other thing is that I really want to help people just think about, what it takes to run our own business, which means we have to dig deep. We have to get clear on who we're serving, why we're serving, how we're serving them. And that's what we need to communicate. And that requires deep work. And that requires us doing a lot of writing. For example, like how many of you spend more than, 2 hours writing a week? Whether it's marketing copy or maybe a blog article or something like that. Anyone? Couple, a little bit more? Okay, awesome. So I think then I wanted to go through how we as a community, and this is not just about me, I am the founder of the Women's Wellness Exchange, but I'm also a wellnesspreneur. And I've done this for 15 years. I've learned a lot. I have 30 years of background in communications and marketing and international affairs, nonprofits. And so, but I realized when I quit my, corporate day job, literally doing communications for countries and things like that, that running and doing communications for my own business was very different because I was really good at hiding behind and making other people look good. I was not so good at, putting myself out there. So really important. And as I said, you know, the how is really that we want to help people think about business in a different way. That this is what the world needs right now. This is what the world needs right now. And it is women who is bringing this to the table. And I say this with my gut, just like pouring my, you know, out, because I just really truly believe this. Women are leading the way in wellness. We are the majority of healthcare, self-care, I say self-care practitioners, naturopaths, therapists, yoga teachers, health coaches, life coaches, like by a big majority, you know, we are really leading the way on this. And we need to be bringing those feminine values to this work, because the Western medical, who, you know, is very, you know, structured, disciplined, you know, I don't need to go into that, but I think this is what the world needs. And we are really we're filling in the gaps that the Western medical, like we're building that bridge. We need that. We need the data, we need the science, we need all that kind of stuff. But, you know, we're the ones who are really empowering, educating, and inspiring people to take better care of their bodies. I think also I want women that are out there to know that we're not alone in this. And I believe that when we support each other, we raise ourselves individually, but also collectively. And we need to stick together on this, because this is the only way that the world's going to change. You know, we are competing not against ourselves. We are competing against big pharma, big food, and a culture that does not make it easy. So we've got to stick together on this. And I want to help women. You know, I talk about, you know, it's your voice, your vision, and your visibility, right? This is what we got to do. We got to be able to speak out. We got to be clear about it. We got, you know, marketing is tough. We can't just like, you know, spew out the same stuff. We really have to go much deeper. So what I wanted to do is actually just wanted to ask a couple questions. How many people have do a lot of like live video, or maybe speak on at events and online events and virtual events? Anyone have some good opportunities doing that? Okay, Liz, Marcy, okay, a little bit. And how many people are pretty active? Do you have like maybe some educational videos or things on their website? Does everyone have a website at this point? Maybe, no, okay. Not yet. Okay, good. Why don't we just really quickly just go through, and then Liz told us a little bit about what she did, which was really awesome. And can you guys just tell also a little bit about what you do? Just with like a minute or less. Karen, why don't you go first?
So I don't exactly know what my niche is going to be yet, but I think it's going to be using positive psychology to help people get out of their own way. So building resilience, cultivating positive emotions, things like that. People have come to me my whole life with their problems and whatnot. My background's in communications. So I am in the process of creating materials, PowerPoints, and for free talks to the community. And I have a great booking site, and that is serving as my webpage. So I am bringing that to the table, but I agree with you. It's hard to do it. It's easier to do it for somebody else than it is to for yourself. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. So how about you? What's your work right now?
Did you say Heather? I didn't
Yes.
hear. Oh, sorry. I was like, did you say my name? Because it kind of cut out. I was like, it might have been me. So I haven't done my own private practice for like 10 years. So I'm kind of just getting back into it. I've been working for startups, so digital health therapeutics. And we had a big layoff at my last company, and a third of the company was let go, including this lady. So I'm sort of re-emerging into my private practice. And so it's been a while. Like, I'm like, okay, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to focus on? So I'm not sure it's even going to be like solely my private practice, but yeah, I'm a health coach. I'm also a board certified behavior analyst. So I kind of use a little bit of both. But yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard of a behavior analyst. Interesting. So much of it's about behavior change, isn't it? Right.
Totally.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Heather. Marcy.
So I actually came into the health industry or health world 20 years ago when I was diagnosed with breast cancer at 28. And so I'm a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And so that got me into the world of nutrition. And so I have my business with Juice Plus. So it's a direct sales company. But through that, I also got my certification for health coaching. And then there's my dog. Then it was through a colleague within my nutrition business that actually introduced me into blood flow and circulation. And so I do education on blood flow and circulation in 8 minutes laying on a mat, increasing your blood flow for 12 to 18 hours. And so, the overall improvement of blood flow reduces inflammation, and less inflammation allows your body to heal and repair itself. So it works well with a lot of different medical practices as well as individuals. So you can own it in your own home. So I have a huge passion to help people understand better, but health coaching comes into that because, like you said, people just don't know what they don't know, or they think that they need to do it all at once. And I'm always just saying, just pick a baby step, start somewhere and then move from there. So yeah, that's what I've done.
Awesome. Liz, did you want to add anything?
Sorry, this new version of Zoom drives me bonkers. Did everybody get all the new updates last week?
Yeah.
That completely changed everything on the screen. No, not really. I think I explained kind of my background. I would just say that my sort of my soulmate client, or the women that I work with, are typically over 50. And I would say the core of my practice is really movement. And I really focus on strength training and working on, women staying active longer. I layer in lots of, change psychology and things like that as far as the nutrition coaching goes, and even getting from point A to point B when it comes to their health, and really look at it from a perspective of deep health, all aspects of lifestyle, and how they all interrelate and interconnect, including relationships with one another, and how that all plays into our overall health. But for me, a lot of it is women who are sort of coming out of a time of taking care of other people, and they're starting to realize that they need to start taking care of themselves. As I said, because I'm a runner, I tend to attract people who are also maybe, athletes who used to maybe be competitive, maybe not, but they're looking to sort of set some big goals, and some big bike trips, some big hiking trips, things like that. So I typically will work with women who are sort of focusing on maybe bigger adventures at this point in their life. But it's a super fun sort of niche to be in, because most of the people that I work with really are looking at, a vision of themselves 5 years from now. What do I want to be doing 5 years from now? And so we work on some reverse engineering. What does that look like, and where are you now? And start to kind of meet them where they are and move them in that direction with steps that are appropriate for their level of commitment. So that's why I love what I do. I love working with other women around different things that other women are doing, because I think, whether it's breath work or blood circulation or all these things, there's just some really, really fascinating, interesting things out there that I think can be good for some people. And sometimes I love to direct them to those people and say, have you thought about trying X? Or have you thought about looking at this person and following that person, and, reading this book or listening to that podcast? So that's why I think the connecting piece is so huge for all of us in this space, is we all have something to bring to the table. And it's a matter of sort of leveraging that in a way that is productive and good for all of us.
I love that. And I again, I think we are our biggest source of referrals, right? Because if someone's going to someone for a health coach, they're going to probably look at mindfulness and yoga, and, it's a journey, and no matter where you are in that journey, there, hopefully people continue to evolve. So I love that. I love what you said too about the point A to point B. I always talk about, we're just trying to get people over the bridge. Here they are, and this is the bridge we need to take them on, and then get them to point, that over the bridge. So love that. All right, so I'm just going to I'm going to share my screen and talk a little bit about the ways that we are building community, supporting women, and really what our mission is. So let me just go through here. Awesome. So let's see if I can actually do this here and make sure that I can. You guys see that? Okay, awesome. All right, so one of the major things that we do is to really just provide business resources, and we do monthly workshops, And as I mentioned, it's like, we don't want to do business the way that, business has always been done in the past. We want to do it more organically, authentically. And so a lot of our workshops are looking at things from a different point of view. A lot of our workshops feature the women in our group. So for example, we did a book on writing, publishing, and promoting your first book. It featured, 3 or 4 women who wrote their own book and did self-publishing, worked with, different publishers. So our group helps us educate people and share information, right? And then we do things around marketing, of course. We did a beautiful one about exploring and honoring your feminine wisdom in your business and your life. Again, bringing more of those feminine values, which I think, again, are why women are going to change the world, because people are tired of being talked at. People are tired of big egos. People are tired of, prescriptions and pills and, one way of doing things, right? People want something deeper. So every month there is a workshop. Sometimes there's more than one, but typically there's one workshop. Oh gosh, now it's not going to let me do that. Hold on. Okay, let me, seems like okay, I'm just going to do this from here because I don't know why it's not letting me. So the next thing that we have is live events. And I mentioned this because, when I actually started the Women's Wellness Exchange, it was kind of born out of a huge live retreat that I did. We had a couple hundred people, and gosh, I wish I could just do that differently. I don't know why that's doing that. Anyway, we had a couple hundred people, and I brought speakers from all over the country. Now I just go into the Women's Wellness Center, which we'll talk about, and I bring in speakers from our own group. So we do at least 2 or 3 retreats a year, online retreats. We do wellnesspreneur roundtables. And as I mentioned, then, the workshops. So again, our members have lots of opportunities for speaking engagements. My goal is to help women, increase their visibility. We've had women speak at our events that have never spoken at events before. We had a young gal who was a physical therapist. She spoke at the event. She worked so hard. She did such a beautiful job. So, and we've had women that have 20 years of experience coming in and talking. So lots of different ways to get involved. We have special events. So for example, we do a healthy holiday marketplace to promote, creative ways to, creative gifts over the holidays. We do another thing called Rise and Shine. We've had over 500 people sign up for that. I think we did 7 days this year, but it's a 7-day or 10-day, let's say, if we do that this year, where our members do a daily video, a meditation, a recipe, a health tip, and people sign up for that. Again, we're always trying to build up the potential customers coming into our, into our mailing list so that we can reach them more and more. Our goal is to bridge our members with potential customers and clients. So we also have free member services. This is something I really, really love. We don't all have, extra money to hire, consultants and things like that, but we have people that are in our community that have volunteered to support other people. So the woman that does a community article coaching is a woman who's run a blog for 15 years. If you have an idea, she has a monthly meeting. You can pop on, you can say, I want to do this story, I have these ideas. She'll review stuff. It's really fabulous. We have another woman who's a yoga teacher. She is an expert at Squarespace. She provides an hour every month where people can pop on and ask questions. So we have, and there's several other things that we have that are just free for members, right? Simple things. We know you don't have a back office. To me, this is kind of like your support team that can support you along the way. We do interviews on Instagram. It's called the Healthy Exchange TV. We used to be called Inspired Wellnesspreneur, which is more geared towards wellnesspreneurs. Now we do educational things on Instagram, but they're all posted on our website as well, or going to be on educational topics. So we've done stuff on stress and anxiety, and this woman did something on sitting is the new smoking. I love this one that Vicki did, why the diet cultures failed us. So again, we want to educate people and our members. So you're pulling from our members to help bring that education. The next thing is really, visibility. So we have what I call the Women's Wellness Center, which is a place where people can come and find support for their self-care. No algorithms, no advertisements. And I love, that there are so many different types of, um, providers, practitioners. We have an intimacy coach. We have coaches that specialize in autoimmune. We have coaches that specialize, just in body movement. So there are so many different ways that people can get support, and they can come here and they can curate their own care, and they can find things that they're looking for or they didn't even know exist, services and products that they didn't even know exist that really specialize in helping them. And I really, think that it's a great way for people to, as I mentioned, kind of curate their own self-care. So on this page as well, is all of our members, and I'll bring this up quickly at the end. Everyone has a profile. People can contact you through the system. We don't take money. We don't set up appointments. People contact you directly. Your goal here is to create a really good profile, to bring people to your website, to your opt-in, to whatever it is, it's going to help them take that next step. It has all your social media on it. It has your credentials. It has, your website. Here you can see she has something to schedule appointments. Some people in our community don't even have websites. This is their website. This is their online presence, right? So it's an opportunity for them to, have that online visibility. And again, people can just message them directly. You can also put your phone number if you want as well. And then every month, our goal is to really connect wellnesspreneurs. So we have a networking event called the Referral Roundup. And we just had one the other night. This is kind of new. It was a little softer before, just a women's circle. Now it's specifically to educate people about what we do and how we support people, so that if people can provide referrals. By the end of this thing, we only had a handful of people, but I'm telling you, by the end they were like, oh my God, I have a client that needs your services. Oh my gosh. And we had a chance to really explain that whole, as I think it was Liz that said, how we get people from point A to point B. We had an energy healer giving some stories about, some amazing things that happen. So love these things. And they're really, again, a great opportunity to build your referral network, to build your community. These are just a couple stats. So over the last 2 years, I think I did this in the spring. So we've had 125 leads that have come through, and that's a minimum. I screened out some of the kind of random messages and, things that weren't really leads. We've had 20,000 people come to our website. We've had 91,000 web views. We've done 85 plus live interviews. As I mentioned, we have 4 countries and 25 states represented, and we're continuing to grow. My goal in the New Hampshire area right now is to start building up more live events, and then help start doing that around the country, where like Boston has a chapter, because I think now that COVID's gone, women want to get together. We had an event in June and people were just like, didn't even know each other. They were coming in like hugging each other because they were just so hungry for that connection. So that's the kind of an overview of our website, and all the products and services that we offer. I think, just to kind of recap, our goal is to really promote, support, and connect women in wellness. And we're looking for women who really want to contribute. It's fine to put your profile up and then, never come. But if you want to increase your visibility, you can post articles, you can post events, you can post products. And I didn't even mention this. We actually promote all those things in our monthly newsletter, which goes out to close to 3,000 subscribers. And we're continuing to grow that customer list, as I mentioned, through the events that we do throughout the year. So we push out those articles, events, and products in our monthly newsletter, so that it's another way for you to get visibility. They all actually appear. I'm just going to go here. This is our Women's Wellness Center here. All the articles are featured on the homepage. Upcoming wellness events, This is a list of the newest practitioners, so they're kind of featured there. We've curated a few things, articles and books and events and things for our members. We do monthly spotlights where we interview some of our members to, one, get to know other, so for the other members to get to know them, but also for potential customers to get to know them. And this is just some other kind of curated content on our site. So we have an opt-in here. It didn't come up, but for people to sign up. So we're always trying to promote our Women's Wellness Center to really bring people in to connect them with our members. So that is kind of an overview, and let me just go back to our presentation. So really, just a really quick recap. My promise to you and to our community really is to help you create momentum in your business. We are our monthly fee is very small compared to hiring a business coach for thousands of dollars. But we offer a lot of different touch points, different ways for you to meet other women, promote your products and services, educate people, promote your events. My goal is to help women get clear on their vision and find their voice, right? This is our work as women, as wellnesspreneurs. To give you opportunities to speak at our events and do live interviews. My promise is to listen and always be evolving our community to reflect what women want and need. We do some polls throughout. I actually am working with the University of New Hampshire, their business and marketing program. They're going to be doing some focus groups for me this fall. And they worked with me a couple years ago. So we're constantly polling, asking women. You can contact me anytime with ideas. My promise is to be an advocate for this. I hate to use the word industry, but for women in wellness, because we have huge buying power. We have huge, empowering power to help people and meet them where they are. And then really to help you connect with other women. And again, that's really done by, you kind of coming to the events, coming to the workshops. So I wanted to just hear my ask for our members, just to give you a sense, is to show up for yourself and your business. Come to the workshops, the one monthly workshop, because not only do you learn something, but you also connect with other women. There's a lot of collaborations going on. And when you come for yourself, you always support other women, right? If there's a panel that's our members, it's really nice to come and support them, hear what they have to say. Maybe not every month the workshop is going to be relevant to you, but our members are all coming forward to support each other, which I love. My ask is that you do the deep work. We do wellnesspreneur worksheets. I'm doing more and more like short videos with tips and things like that. And I'm also bringing in other experts as well. And to leverage your content. So if you write a blog article on your website, put it on our website. It doesn't have to be original content, right? Our goal is to really pull in all that knowledge and expertise, and finally just to support each other. And I think people are hungry for this, and you don't realize it. We kind of get isolated and we kind of take a step back, and sometimes we have to really kind of lean into this community, and because everyone's kind of feeling the same way you are, and I think we all are looking for that little bit of support. So the membership investment is $35 a month, and that includes access to the community, all the mentoring and marketing resources and business resources, your profile in the Women's Wellness Center, speaking opportunities at all the different events that we do, live interviews, and then, discounts on some of the larger retreats and things that we do. The members, definitely get a major discount on those kinds of things. So, and what I'm offering today is just a 30-day trial. You can come into the Women's Wellness Exchange and check it out. I wanted to show you one other thing before we get off. I'm just going to show you what the back office looks like. Let's see, where am I? So this is basically what every member has access to, this dashboard. It is the most user-friendly, clean, fill in the blank kind of thing. There's no everything is pretty straightforward. So here's some resources that we have on top, editorial guidelines and all the recordings and things like that. The stuff in red is all the post types that you can publish. So articles, we have job listings, events, products. This is the Healthy Holiday Marketplace. So you basically click on those, you fill in the blanks, you put up an image, really straightforward. I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is where you come in and you fill out your profile. So all these buttons will be yellow, and once you fill those out and they're green, I will review your profile and approve it or come back to you with any questions or suggestions or anything like that. And then you can come back anytime and update your different post types. You manage your leads in here. People can leave reviews. And it's really clean, it's really simple, and I encourage people, we have a whole welcome kit that has some videos and things like that to kind of go through that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing because I want to just come back to the group here. Any questions? I feel like now I've been talking. So any questions? Yeah, Heather.
The website, I really appreciate it looks very clean and simple. And all very nice. My question was, I get really excited about speaking opportunities and doing trainings, and obviously doing trainings for other women is very cool. I'm just curious, what are the opportunities in terms of being able to do that? Is there like an application thing? I'm assuming that not all of the, women in the community can all be speaking at every event or occasion.
Yeah, really good question. So typically, or what I do is I have a Google Doc where people submit ideas. And then we run through those ideas and, select people. And I try and make room for everyone as best as I can. The more clear, obviously, that people are, if it's too general, but I tend to work with people. My goal is, I'm a facilitator, so my goal is to help people. But yeah, so we use a Google Doc, people submit ideas, and then, I do my best to fit everybody in. Like for example, the Rise and Shine, we had a few extra videos. So on the last day, I took them to a place and, they got to see those videos. So again, it's not trying to, exclude anyone. But also, we want women that are giving it some thought and really want to put their all into it, because really everything that we do, one person does is a reflection of our whole group, so try and make that as professional as possible. And I'm, always willing to work with people to kind of hone in on their topics and things. And as I mentioned, we have a woman who does community we call it community articles, but she does coaching to help women, with their blog articles. We're doing something in September called Self-Care September. Again, this is being promoted out to build up our customer mailing list, to really educate people on different modalities of healing, to feature all the content that we have. And so that's going to be really in September, and I'll be reaching out to members to kind of cull some more information for that. So, yeah. So, and as I mentioned on those speaking opportunities, but there's the Healthy Exchange, and those that's a Calendly, and people just sign up for those, and then I'll send them questions and help them kind of hone in. My feeling today is that people are overwhelmed with information, so I help try and get topics to be as specific as possible. And then we do, we'll have a Wellnesspreneur Summit in early December. We have another retreat in January, which will be an opportunity called Cultivate. It's been called Cultivate Wellness from Within. This year it's going to be called Cultivate Wholeness from Within, because I think it's just one more level of, our health, evolution, right? It's wholeness, wellness. And that's been a big exploration for me, as just, looking at the role of women and how we need to evolve based on, what we felt like our society did not want us to do. So, without getting into that. So, any more questions? Or so if you wanted to, is anyone interested in joining us, or is there anything that I can answer? I'm happy to stay on with anyone. We've got 15 minutes. If you want to pull up, I was going to give you the link to show you how to create an account. I'm putting that right in the thing right now. And I'm happy to go through. It takes 2 seconds basically to just create a password. And then you put in your credit card information, and then you goes right to your dashboard, like I said. So we could take a few minutes if people are interested and go through, and I can give you a little bit of tour. I also do orientations, typically once a month. So there's always time to meet with me, and I do discovery calls as well. Heather, thanks so much for joining us. So yeah, anyone want to stay on and take a little tutorial of creating an account? Okay, awesome. Liz?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marcy,
I-
2 more minutes.
Mhm.
Pardon?
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marcia.
No, you're good.
All right, Marcy, I'm sorry. I was looking at my small screen instead of my big screen. So I am just feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. I'm on break in between classes, and there's so many opportunities. And this does look awesome. It looks great. It looks fantastic. It really does. Did I hear you say that there was a 30-day trial? Oh, okay. And is that, so I go ahead and put my credit card information in, and then that is a free trial, or I am charged for that, or how does that work?
So you are not charged for it. You're not charged for anything, but to
Yeah.
create an account, you do need to put your credit card information.
Okay.
I'm happy to also show you how to cancel. It's like a simple button.
Okay.
So what I would say, you could come in, maybe attend a workshop, get your profile up, and kind of check out what we're all up to. And then you'll have a month, so you'll be able to do, we still haven't done our workshop for August. And then if it's something that you're interested in staying with, then you can stay on, or if not, you can just cancel it. And it just
Yeah.
literally, you go to your account and press cancel. So
It looks truly wonderful. It really does. My lesson now is protecting myself from myself, not from wonderful opportunities like this, but from overcommitting to things. So, since I'm still preparing all my marketing materials, and that my goal is to have that done by the end of next week, I'm just mindful of that. So, but really what you've done is phenomenal. There's so much there, like there's so much value.
I
Yeah.
think so. We're trying to really, I feel like it's approachable and attainable. It's not too much. I mean, I found that sometimes women get overwhelmed by coaches where they're like meeting 6 times a week, and it's just too much. I feel like this is a really nice balance of getting some good information to help you create momentum and connection without being overwhelmed. So
Yeah, I agree. A lot of variety and a lot of more in-depth stuff. It's very well thought out, and you have a lot of talented people contributing, clearly.
thank you. I appreciate the feedback. All right, well, let me just walk you through this really quickly. Just do this. It's very straightforward. And again, let's get here before I can share. And sharing. I turn the, so basically what you do is you come in here and you fill out your email and your password. And then if you ever forget your password, you can obviously create another one. And then just put in your credit card information. And then that is going to bring you right to, let's see if I've got that, to your account. And then what you want to do is just show you, it's really straightforward. Oh, no rats. Okay. Let's see if I've got another thing. Let me just stop this, and I'm going to log in as this woman again. Why just log me out?
See, do you have anybody who talks about like on a blog or a web page, privacy policy information? you know, when you're supposed to say, this is how the site collects information, this is because I have a blog, but I am told that I need to have that on there. And so I haven't done anything with it because it's overwhelming to me.
Yeah, I have two women that help us out. One woman does she does our website audits, and she is has worked for Kripalu, I always think I'm saying that wrong. And several international health organizations. So she would be a good resource. And then our Squarespace person might also have some insight on that as well. So I could definitely connect you with that kind of information. We also have a Facebook group. Didn't mention that. It's a private Facebook group, and a discussion board, which I've kind of put out. I haven't really launched yet. So there's definitely many ways for us members to reach out to other people to ask questions and things like that as well. So, all right. So basically, when you come into your dashboard, you will get a welcome member kit as well. But all you're going to do is just click on each green button and fill in the information. It's pretty much your company name and so forth. We're encouraging people to, or asking people that they at least put states so that people have a sense of, you know, where they're located. Helps us as well. And then you put in all your website links and information there. So pretty straightforward. And then once you do that, you will go to the next area, put in a photo. You can also put in your company logo. It looks like here she just put in her photo, but you can put in your logo. The photos of the person appear on the page. And then you would fill out your specialties. If you have specialties that are not included, because there's subcategories and so forth, then we can go ahead and add those. And then I just ask everyone that they put in their credentials and be really clear about those. You know, we don't check anything, but we do ask that people list everything. So if anyone else does want to check, how you take in forms of payment, that kind of stuff. And then the last thing is really just your about section. And that is, you know, information. I just finished up, you know, how to do a great profile video as well. And then you can add pictures in here. You can add videos. You could put a link to your opt-in. So again, this is really your opportunity to kind of take people to that next step. And then that's really it. And then if you wanted to, you know, let's say if you wanted to add an article, you would just click on the community article page and, you know, put in your title. We've got different categories here, and then add it in here. And also put in some smart tags and add your article. And then the last thing would just be upload an image because that appears on the page. So the posts are really straightforward. They're very much fill in the blank. So there's no coding, there's no figuring it out. It's really, really straightforward. So that's kind of it as far as you know, filling out the profile and so forth. Oh, I think we lost Marcy and Liz. Are you still there? I think we lost Liz too.
I can see Liz.
I know. I mean, she's there, but I think she must have had to step away.
Oh,
Awesome.
oh,
All right.
I see. That's there she is.
Liz. Liz, where did you?
I had to go get my information to fill out the application. That's what I was doing.
Okay, no worries. Liz, tell me where you're located again.
So I'm over in Hopkinton, so just northwest of Concord.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in north end of Manchester, so I'm not far
Oh,
from.
you are? Okay, see, and I thought you were Seacoast, based on what I had seen
I was
from the
Seacoast.
information. Okay, based on what I'd seen on some of the information, I thought you were located on the Seacoast. And so, yes, I would love to join initially just to see if it's the right, you know, the sort of the right fit in terms of, you know, people. And I have to say, I'm really interested in the in-person events, mostly because, you know, I think a lot of us are part of a lot of online groups, at least I am, a lot of online groups, and I get a little weary of the Zoom online stuff all the time. Um, so this for me is a great opportunity to connect with people, even just in my own area, and you know, obviously the expanded group as well, but in person with people that are in our area. Concord has got a really robust wellness community, and so I'm very well connected there. And so it's really kind of expanding my, you know, my playground, if you will, a little bit to get to know some other people. And I do know some people out on the seacoast actually. So it's really just sort of like, I think, just being able to connect with people in a much more efficient way that are and be able to attend things that I think are going to be of interest for not only my own personal sort of pursuits, but also from a, you know, from a business perspective. As I said, I'm part of a group, an online group that's a mentorship mastermind group, and they're fantastic. And that's really where a lot of the business sort of the business work comes and the deep work around that. But it's really just connecting with people across many different genres
Yeah.
that I think is really helpful. As I said, I know the Concord area really well. I have a really good network of people to refer to for clients that are in this area, from, you know, from massage therapists to chiropractors to naturopaths to, you know, mindfulness folks to, you know, that thing, but really sort of that bigger, you know, that bigger circle, if you will, and being able to meet people in person. And I did try to get to one of your events. I don't remember if it was the June one, but it was on a Wednesday night and I have clients on Wednesday night, so I couldn't swing it that week. But I thought if I know enough ahead of time and I can rearrange my schedule, then I would love to try to attend some of the in-person.
It's just, I am hosting something tomorrow night, which is so last minute, just from some local people. I think it'll be 7 or 8 people. So if you're interested in that, I can send you the information since we're not that far. It's going to be more of like the Manchester-based women. And this is just
Okay.
really totally informal. I just wanted to get together with some people and connect. And then we're going to be doing some stuff at Whole Life Healthcare in Portsmouth in
Mm-hmm.
this fall. I'm going to firm those dates up probably early October. So we'll, and
Okay.
yeah, so I'm hoping to do at least 3 events, big events a year, like the dinners, and then we're going to be doing some small stuff
Mm-hmm.
in between. So
Okay. And I mean, I'd be happy too if you have like to host something up in the Concord area.
awesome.
I work out of a couple of different locations, and actually I wish I could come tomorrow night, but I coach at Orange Theory a few times a week, so I have to coach tomorrow night. Um, but there's, you know, there's a pretty robust group up here, and I have a place that I could host an event very easily that I think would be super interesting. So that might be kind of fun if you want to do something up in this neck of the woods too,
Love it. Yeah,
and invite some other Concord people and
yeah,
surrounding Concord people.
yeah. Would love that. Would love that. Awesome. Awesome. Well, you have the link, Liz.
I do,
Great.
in process.
Awesome. Karen?
Yeah, I bookmarked it, so I'm gonna go back in later today and enter yeah, all the information. Yeah,
Yeah.
and give it a try. I mean, I really want to do it. It's just the time. There's not enough time in the day to do everything that I want to do. This is so valuable.
I mean, I would say, you know, if it's a really good question, like if someone asked me how much time this takes per month, and really, I guess that's up to you. And I'm answering you
Yeah.
now, and I'm answering the world because, you know, at minimum, you could attend the workshop, which is an hour and a half once.
Right.
And then if you wanted to post an article or something, if the article's already written, it takes 5 minutes to just
Right.
put it in there. So, you know, and then if you wanted to attend the networking event, but I would say it would be a few hours a month if you wanted to be somewhat active in the community and make those connections.
Yeah.
But it's totally up to you, you know.
Yeah. Well, I would want to be active. I don't like to say I'm going to participate in something and then not do it. And I do feel like I have something, things to contribute, you know, that would be helpful to many people. I think I'm just overwhelmed right now because I'm in the process. You remember when you started your businesses, right? Like there's so much to do at the beginning, from doing a, you know, DBA for your LLC to setting up payments to creating all of your own marketing materials. So that's my wave of like, I got to do this in 3 weeks kind of thing now. So it's just timing.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. Well, you know where to find us. And
Yes,
reach out to me with any questions.
I
Let me just
will.
give you guys my email. It's
Yeah.
tracy@womenswellnessexchange.com. Use the chat. And
Okay.
it's I think all the emails that I sent would have it, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
Oh, yeah.
exchange, it's exchange, because
Mhm.
if I had an S there, it would be like sex change. So I took that out. So women's wellness X change. No.
I
I
even
don't
like
say
the
that a lot
font.
because I don't want to leave that vision in people's head.
That's funny. I even like the font that you chose for the, Women's Wellness Exchange. I think that's a nice font. Anyway,
Well, ladies, I really appreciate this. And Liz, I'm
you.
so excited to connect with another New Hampshire person. And Karen, I hope you'll keep an eye on us. We'd love to have you in the
Yes,
community and love
yes.
the work that
Thank
you're
you.
doing around, the psychology of eating. And I mean, just it's taking things to a whole new level. I just saw something, what do they call it? Nutritional psychology.
Yes, that is a
Like, oh
thing.
my God, hallelujah.
Finally, I know, right? So you guys, I know you have to go, but my last paper was on emotional eating and the stuff I learned about the processed food companies. Oh my gosh, and the power of sugar and how it affects your dopamine and serotonin in less than a second, only just over half a second. It ignites your brain and why we get addicted to high fat and sweet foods and how got an evolutionary basis. And oh my gosh,
And you would think
we
that
could all talk forever.
people would know that, but they don't. So we've got a lot of work to do.
We
I
do.
mean, we do one person at a time. That's my feeling. I'm
Yeah,
like sometimes I've been in this so long, I take it for granted that people know, but they don't. Got
exactly.
to continue with the education, and
Yes,
it's
I agree.
just we got a big hurdle, but we're doing it. We're getting over it. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate both of you for the work that you're doing, and excited to have you on board, Liz, and Karen. Just keep in touch, and if we can help out in any way, again in the next couple weeks, even if you have, what are you doing your website on? Is it what platform?
So I created it on Book Like a Boss. It's not a website per se, but I'm using it as my website because there's an about me section and a profile section. So parts about me, parts about what is, health and wellness coaching. It's not about telling you what to do,
Gotcha.
that kind of thing. And then you can put in your products, which for me I divided up 12 sessions into 4-part sessions to make it more financially palatable to people. I'm just guessing it's easier to spend a smaller amount of money, in increments rather than like $1,000 all at once, right?
Yeah, no, that sounds
So,
good.
and then some free
Yeah.
talk community because I've never done those either, but why not?
Yeah, education,
Yeah.
education, education.
Exactly.
People need to
Yeah.
understand who you are and where you're coming from.
Yeah, Tracy, I used to have a website. I had one when I first started on my, like, going full time on my own. I created one, and I actually hired a friend to help manage it, if you will, and she was awesome. She's just really good at graphics, and I really don't love doing that stuff. So I quote unquote hired her to do that for me. And then I found after a couple of years, I just was not on top of updating it on a regular basis. I wasn't using it as a tool. I had it linked to Stripe and all that kind of stuff. I just wasn't using it as an effective tool. So I ended up sort of closing that down. And part of that is because I use 3 or 4 other platforms that are more like, I use Trainerize and I use Coach Catalyst and I use Training Peaks and all these other communication tools. And so I do all of my sort of connecting, if you will, over social media these days and emails. I've quadrupled my email list in the last 6 months.
Wow.
So, which is just because I've totally put all my focus on it.
Awesome.
And it just started to do more and more, like, trying to build my email list because the whole social media world has just changed so much with algorithms and things like that. It's just so hard to be seen out there. And you're one of a million, I'm one of a million people doing what I do. And so it's not so much about, trying to get a zillion followers. It's more about getting to people and getting them, you know, to see you for who you are and what you do and what it is that they connect with about you. And so I've found that to be much more effective through email and through doing really specific things like challenges. Like, so I do challenges like every quarter. I do webinars every quarter. I do, which is why working with Nicole Spencer's has been so invaluable, because that is so her marketing model. And it's just taught me all the nuts and bolts of that aspect of things. And to your point, Karen, like I've been where you are and was totally overwhelmed with all the details that had to happen, and having a real sort of structure as to what I needed to do, but not worry about having it all done all in the beginning before I got started. My
Yeah.
mantra is just stay one step ahead of my fastest client.
That's a
That's
great
it.
mantra.
That's it. And so if I can stay one day ahead of them, I'm winning
Yeah.
the game. And I tell you, there have been days where I am literally like one step ahead of a client and I'm like, I got this. And, you know, and then I build it out and then I'm 3 steps ahead of the next client, you know, so it's sometimes, and then I switch things up. So it is all about just like constantly evolving. And the more
Yes.
I've talked to people about starting their business and they're like, I've got to have everything in a row before I get started. And then they realize that they're actually already 10 steps ahead of their clients. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, and you just have to sometimes just do it and then, you know, roll with it
Yeah.
and see what happens. And, you know, as always say, like imperfect action is better than no action at all.
Exactly.
And I took on that mantra after trying for months to get everything set up and then throwing it out 3 months later and being like, well, I didn't really like the way that worked. So I'm going to switch. So it is always evolving and changing. And this is where a group like this is so helpful too, because you can pop out there and say, what do you use for your blog? I use WordPress. And so I toss it into my Facebook group, you know, I toss it into my emails, but I only just use WordPress as a standalone free product to be able to house the blogs. That's it. I don't make it any fancier than that. So, you know, everybody has their own tools that they like. And my big thing is integration, like wherever things can integrate with other things, that's really important. But I'm on the verge of the virtual assistant world right now after doing this for as long as I've done. And I've hemmed and hawed and hemmed and hawed and hemmed and hawed about it for the last year. And it's just a matter of finding the right person. I've interviewed 2 and just didn't feel like they connected with me as much as I really wanted them to. Or maybe I didn't connect with them. But that's where kind of I am with things, because I've gotten to the point now where I just need people to do that stuff for me. I know what the message is. I know who my client is. I know what I want to do with them. I've got my program. I'm locked and loaded. Now I just need to have somebody do that stuff for me to take that load off of me so I can spend more time on retention and less time on posting to social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
But it took me 4 years to get Karen, of doing my own, because I wanted to know, I wanted to see the feedback. I wanted to see how things resonated.
Sure.
I didn't want to skip over that step because it's helped get to where today is.
Exactly. Yeah, you sound very focused. That's awesome. Thank you for
I
sharing
just,
that.
well, I've been there. That's why I know I've spent hours and hours in front of that computer just going, I got to have this lined up and that lined up. And I would say the most important thing are the legal documents. I mean, that's really like,
Exactly.
if you had to do anything, it's the legal documents.
Right.
So I don't know if you've done that, Tracy, if you agree, but that's kind of my own experience with it.
I think, yeah, and I love this conversation because this is basically what every conversation is like when we get together. So Karen,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
love how
Yeah.
other women are helping other women. And so again, I'm just a facilitator, but I can't tell you every single time, and no matter how many people are on the call, like something always really great comes out of it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I love that. And I think, you know, get your ducks in a row, but get out there is the key. Cause I think we as
Exactly.
women, we get caught up in the details. The devil's in the details, like, you know, and then, you know, we got to be putting ourselves up, but, you know, do the deep work and, you know, get some clarity, but you will always evolve. What you write about now will change in 3 months. Hopefully. I think when
Right.
people just put a website out and then it sits there and collects dust. And again, I think that's why having a profile is good, because if you don't have a website, like kind of what you're doing, you don't have a website, but you have different ways for people to find you. And
Yeah.
that, you know, I have women who don't have websites who get a lot of leads because, you know, that's their only online presence. So
Yeah.
Right. I use a landing page through ConvertKit. I went to ConvertKit and I use a landing page over there. That's how I do it. So I just drive people to a landing page where I can basically get their email information and their information to connect. And then I connect with them, however, whether it's through Facebook Messenger or texting or however it is. So that's how I capture that piece.
Yeah.
And again, I don't create so much volume that's overwhelming for me at this point in time. But driving them to a landing page was a lot easier than driving them to a website, for me anyway, in terms of maintaining it. And so that I'm not having to babysit all these different things, unless I had somebody that I was paying to babysit for me.
Mhm.
Awesome. So helpful. Thank you so much, Liz. And thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you.
joining us. And Liz, I will look forward to looking at your profile, and I'm glad you have a blog article so you can share some of that stuff. And let's do an Instagram live interview. We'll do something on fitness, and would love to.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to do that. And I'll definitely connect once I get the application filled out, then I'll definitely connect with some of the in-person things you have coming up.
Awesome. Perfect. All
So,
right. Thank you, ladies.
And Tracy, I got to thank you for doing this, because it
Yes.
takes facilitator people like you to start that connection piece and start to, as I say, if we build it, they'll come, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
I've talked to so many women, and this is what they're craving, but
Totally.
it's, we're busy. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying, Karen. I totally appreciate where you're coming from. It's like, a lot of people sign up for stuff, but this is like, no, this is real. This is like, we're getting into stuff, and like, show up for yourself, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But it's hard. I get it, and but I know that every time women do, something really awesome comes out of it. So, but I totally get it. You can't take on too much, and then you're spread so thin that not doing anything well. So
Right, exactly. Running in circles, chasing your tail.
awesome.
think I
So
do.
nice to
So,
meet you.
well, thank you, Tracy.
You
Yep. And I'll
too.
get that in later today, and we'll connect at some point. Karen, good luck with getting everything lined up.
Yeah. Thank
All
you
righty.
for the pep
Bye,
talks and all the valuable information, and I hope to see you soon.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, ladies.
Thanks.